In this video, we will learn how to make a plushie from scratch. For this, you will need this fabric. Take an embroidery hoop. This comes in 2 parts. We will separate it like this. Push the inner part out and divide it into 2 pieces. Place the inner ring under the fabric. Now position the front side of the penguin design at the center of the ring. Then take the outer ring and fix it over the inner ring like this. This will tighten your fabric in the hoop and make embroidery much easier. Now let's begin with embroidery. First, we will learn the satin stitch. Bring your needle up from the underside of the fabric to the top and take a straight stitch in the center of the petal like this. Now we just need to take all the stitches in the same way, keeping them parallel throughout the petal shape. Remember, all the stitches should go from the top toward the center. We start from the center so that both sides of the petal look symmetrical. If you begin from one side, your petal might end up looking uneven or slightly crooked. So first, we will fill one side of the petal and then move on to the other side. Satin stitch gives a very smooth and neat finish, which is why it is called a satin stitch. It is generally used to fill larger shapes. Next, we will learn how to lock a stitch at the back. Whenever you want to change the thread, if your thread is finished, or if you want to switch to another design, you need to secure the thread at the back by locking the stitch. To lock your stitch, take your needle through any of the nearest stitches at the back, like this, and keep a small loop. Now pass your needle through that loop and pull it tight to secure the stitch. Repeat this once again. Take your needle through a nearby stitch, leave a small loop, pass the needle through the loop, and pull it tight. Then cut off the excess thread. This is how you lock your stitch. Now continue filling all the shapes using satin stitch, like the flower petals, the penguin's eyes, cheeks, beak, and legs. This is how satin stitch is done. Next, let's learn the backstitch. Take a green-colored thread in your needle. Bring your needle up from the bottom of the stem like this and make a small straight stitch, about 1/2 centimeter. Then leave a gap of about 1/2 centimeter and bring your needle up again. Now insert your needle back into the point where your first stitch ended. Watch this step carefully. You just need to repeat this process and your backstitch will be formed. Keep repeating this until you completely cover the stem. Bring your needle up with a small gap between stitches, then take it back down into the end of the previous stitch, like this. Next, let's learn the lazy daisy stitch. For this, bring your needle up from the bottom of the petal. Then insert it back into the same point, but do not pull the thread all the way through. Leave a small loop, as shown. Now bring your needle up from the tip of the leaf or petal, making sure that the needle comes up through the center of that loop. This will form a small looped petal shape. After that, take a small straight stitch over the loop at the tip to secure or lock it in place. Watch this process a couple of times, and it will become clear. In short, bring the needle up from the base, insert it back into the same point while leaving a loop. Bring the needle out from the tip through the loop, and then lock it with a small stitch. That's how you create a lazy daisy stitch. Watch it 2 to 3 times if you don't understand. It becomes much clearer with repetition. This is one of the prettiest stitches and is commonly used for making small leaves or tiny petals in your design. You can also combine backstitch and lazy daisy stitch together. For example, while stitching the stem with backstitch, if a small leaf appears in between, you can pause, make the lazy daisy leaf, and then continue again with the backstitch. Next, we are going to learn French knots. For this, take a yellow-colored thread. French knots can be a little tricky, so pay close attention. Bring your needle up from the center. Hold the thread tightly with one hand and wrap it around the needle. Keep holding the thread firmly, then insert the needle back into the same hole and gently pull it through. Pull very softly, like this. You should practice this 3 to 4 times on a corner of the fabric before doing it on the actual design. It's a good idea to watch the process 4 to 5 times carefully and then try it yourself. Now you just need to keep completing the entire project. Fill different areas like the legs, cheeks, beak, and eyes. For all of these, we are using satin stitch. In the eyes, where you see the small white dot, we will add a small French knot. This gives depth to the eyes and makes your Peary the penguin look more realistic. If you like, you can also embroider eyelashes, or you can leave it as it is. Both styles look beautiful. Using black thread, we will do a back stitch to outline Peary's face and body. We will also use backstitch to make Peary's hands. Now let me show you how to end a stitch at the back. Once you finish stitching any flower or any part of the design, you must lock the thread at the back. Otherwise, your entire embroidery can come undone. For that, follow the same locking process as shown earlier and secure your thread properly. Now our embroidery is completely finished. Once you are done with the embroidery, remove the fabric from the hoop. Now cut both the front and back sides. Follow the outer border and cut it neatly according to the shape. After cutting both pieces, the next step is to stitch them together. For this, you will need pins so that both the front and back pieces stay in place. Position the pieces like this, the right sides facing each other, meaning the embroidered side will be inside. You'll notice a border line around the penguin shape. This is where you need to stitch. Now use the pins to secure both the front and back pieces together so they don't move while stitching. If the fabric shifts while stitching, the shape of your penguin may get distorted, so it's very important to place the pins at small intervals along the border. Once you've attached the pins, it will look like this. Now you need to do a back stitch along the visible border line, the black outline you see. You've already learned how to do back stitch. For this step, use a thin thread and make very small back stitches. This will give a neat and clean finish when you turn the plushie inside out. The smaller your stitches, the better the finishing will look. If you want a machine-like finish, keep your stitches tiny and consistent along the border. As you stitch, whenever you reach a pin, remove it and continue stitching. The tighter and smaller your stitches are, the better your final result will be. This step is very important, so do it slowly and with patience. Also, do not stitch the entire border. Leave a small opening at the bottom, as marked, so that you can fill the stuffing later. You can see that I have left a small opening at the bottom like this. Once you are done with the back stitching, lock your stitch, cut the thread, and now we will turn the fabric to the front side. This is how it should look after completing the back stitch. The bottom part should be left open. Before turning it inside out, we need to make small cuts along the edges like this. Just make sure you do not cut through the back stitches. These small cuts help the fabric take a proper shape when you turn it. If you skip this step, the shape may look uneven or awkward after turning. You can skip cutting near the open part if you want, so it's easier to stitch later. Now let's turn the penguin right side out. This part is very satisfying. Something you embroidered is finally coming to life. Wow! After turning it, it might look a bit shapeless at first. So take a pen or the back of a toothbrush and gently push out the edges to give it a proper shape. This helps define the curves and makes it look neat. Now comes the best part, filling the cotton. You will fill the cotton through the opening you left at the bottom. Take small portions of cotton and start stuffing it inside. Add a little at a time and keep adjusting it using a pen or toothbrush to distribute it evenly. You can control how firm or soft your plushie feels. If you want it firm, fill in more cotton. If you prefer it soft and squishy, use less cotton. Now comes the final step, closing the opening. For this, we use a ladder stitch. First, tuck the extra fabric edges inside neatly. Then, you need to stitch both edges together so they close seamlessly. Start the stitch from inside the plushie so that the knot remains hidden. Hold both edges together like this, and then insert your needle. Keep doing the same throughout the open edges. Watch this step very carefully. You need to do it neatly and with good finishing. Otherwise, your piri might look a little unfinished at the bottom. This stitch is called a ladder stitch. It's so satisfying to watch all the edges come together and see piri slowly coming to life. In just a few moments, your piri will be ready. Once you finish stitching, lock your stitch and cut the excess thread. And ta-da! Just like that, you have stitched your very own plushie. Wow, it looks so amazing. You can use it as a keychain, a bag charm, hang it in your car, or keep it on your desk. Keep squishing it. Happy embroidery!